Welcome back to the fourth lesson in our Unit 1 Algebra Basics. So today we're going to talk about evaluating expressions with variables. And this is something you've probably done before, but we really want to dig into this because this is the core of a lot of what we're going to be doing. It's the core of solving equations. It's how we check an equation. It's why we solve equations so that we can find the variables that we express. So this idea is actually going to really come back into play from Units 2 through Units 5 all throughout this year. So it's really important we get a good grasp on this now. Okay. So an expression, really what our goal is today is that you can evaluate that expression. And the first thing you have to know is what is an expression? Well, the expression is a mathematical phrase that's made up of numbers and symbols. So this could be any concept as simple as the math problems you were taught in elementary school up until these very crazy problems that we're going to use this year. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. So, it could be simply as 2 plus 4, numbers and symbols. In this case, our symbols right here is plus, and 4, 2 and 4. So this is our expression. You'll notice something that's missing is an equal sign. So anytime you see an expression, you typically don't have the equal sign, don't have like equal 6 on the end of this. So another type of expression we're going to see this year might look something like this. 4x plus 2 equals y, or something along those lines. Sorry, I forgot my equal sign. Or x squared plus 3x minus 4, or 4x squared minus 8y squared plus 7. So all of these are different types of expressions that we can see. Some we can solve, some we can't. The common term is that we're going to have a symbol and a number. It could simply be symbols like x plus y, because where x and y are both numbers, we just don't know the value yet. This, even though it doesn't have numbers, quote unquote, it has x and y, which stand for numbers, so that's perfectly fine. These are all different kinds of examples you can work from. One of the key properties that allows us to work on this is the substitution property. And it kind of makes a lot of sense if you think about it. When a teacher's not here, they have a substitute. That's someone that can take the place of that teacher, that can stand in, that can either teach the class or watch the students while the teacher is out. So the property that comes in it, if A is equal to B, then A may be replaced for B in any expression. So that's simply stating, so if I have x plus y, and I know that x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 8, I can say, okay, since x is equal to 3, I can replace this x with 3. And since y is equal to 8, I can replace this y with 8, all leading me to the ability to solve the problem going, oh, 3 plus 8 is 11, and letting me simplify that expression. So let's talk through the steps to solve it. Now, there's a part in this that makes kind of sense. The first thing you got to do is substitute the variables for the given values. So like we did just a moment ago, we'll go ahead and keep an example over here. So if I know x is equal to 2 and y is equal to negative 3, and I'm given the expression x squared minus y, I can say, okay, first thing I'm going to do is substitute. But when I substitute, it's really important that I take the time and go, okay, use a set of parentheses around what I substitute. So 2 squared minus negative 3. So now that I can do this, now I'm going to follow the order of operations to solve it. So squares first, so that's 4 minus negative 3, and double negatives, so we know that we go ahead and just make it a positive, so the answer happens to be 7. So using all those rules, the other way to think about this is there's a negative 1 right there, so negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. Lots of different ways to look at that negative rule. So let's try a couple little more challenging problems, a little more in-depth problems, what we're going to be seeing more today. So if we start here, we start with a times b squared plus c. And it's really important that you follow the idea of the order of operations and the plugging everything in. So if we know a is 2, put it in parentheses, b is 4, plus c, which is 7. If I would have done this and maybe forgotten the parentheses, I might have just written, so a common mistake students will do is this. So then it looks like 24 squared versus 2 times 4 squared. So now we kind of follow the order of operations, so don't do that. So that becomes 2 times 16 plus 7. 2 times 16 is 32, plus 7 is 39. Okay, you give this one a try. Pause the video and give it a shot. All right, now that you've checked it, let's go ahead and check the answer. So 3 times negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 2. So this is important. We know that this rule right here is negative 2 times 2. And one of the things about this is when you use your calculator, if you just type negative 2 squared, your answer is going to come out as negative 4. And that's obviously not right. It's important that you type it exactly the way here. So the negative 2 in parentheses squared. And that's going to give you that correct answer of 4. So it becomes 3 times 4 minus 4 times negative 2. So that's 12. This one happens to be a plus 8. Finally leading us to get 20. All right. So now we take a look at a slightly more challenging problem. A squared times b minus b squared. So this is important that we kind of take that time and plug in the formula, plug in the information like we're supposed to. So 3 squared times negative 4 minus 4 squared. So solve all the exponents. 9 times negative 4 minus negative 4 squared is 16. You can choose to get rid of these parentheses if you want to. I just kind of keep them until I get to that final step. It's negative 36 minus 16. And then now I've got two negatives, so I'm going to add them together to get a negative 52 is my final answer. All right, so, and this changes every time we play like a different number or a different equation, we get a different answer. So let's take a look and try this one. Now this one includes absolute value. So it's really important, and you really don't need to put parentheses around the C term because it's already in a set of parentheses, but it's important that you kind of keep all those there. So negative times negative 2. That negative is outside the A. We're just replacing the A. Since the A is negative 2, it's important that you keep that negative outside. Minus 2 times 3 times negative 3 minus the absolute value of negative 3. So we're going to go through and do all the work and kind of simplify this out. Parentheses would be done first, so we're going to turn that into positive 3. So negative times negative 2 squared minus 2 times 3 times negative 3 minus 3. Now we're going to run through the problem, do my exponents. Negative 2 squared is negative 4 minus 2 times 3 times negative 3 minus 3. So I'm going to do all my multiplication. So negative 4 minus, we'll see if that's minus or plus in a second. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 3 is going to give me a positive 18 minus 3. And I finally solve that out. Negative 4 and negative 3 make negative 7. And then a positive 18 gives me a positive equals, the answer is 11. Okay. Now, here's the great part. If you do 5, 7, and 9 on your notes, and then I've got a little check sheet for you guys on the next page, and answer those questions on the next page. If you get them correct, you can go right to your homework. It's important you do all these and make sure you practice them. I'll have the answers to show you in just 1 second. Go ahead and give these problems a try. All right, now that you've tried those and kind of plugged your answers in, if you missed one, it's going to have you start again. If not, you can kind of go through here. So let's go ahead and take a look at our answers. So I've already typed all these in to make it a little easier to read. So if we plug in our information, negative times negative 4 squared minus 3 times negative 4 times 2. So negative 4 squared is negative 16 with a negative 1. Negative 3 times negative 4 times negative times positive 2 is 12 times 2 is 24. When I add them, my final answer is 8. Now remember, the key to this next problem is there's these hidden set of parentheses that we never write, but they're implied to be there. So we have to do those first. So when I plug it in, it looks something like this. 3 squared plus 4 squared over 3 minus 4. So I'm going to solve squared terms first. 9 plus 15 is 24. 3 minus 4 is negative 1, finally leading me over to that final answer of negative 24. All right, my last one, probably the most information to put into it, but take the time and put it in, and it's important to put it in parentheses. So 2 squared minus 2 times negative 2 minus negative 3 minus 3 negative 3 cubed. So I put all this in, and you'll see I kind of made a mistake here, and I kind of hope you've seen it. This answer is wrong. So it's important that you always take a close look at the answer. So I'm going to go ahead and redo that problem. So it's 2 squared minus 2 times negative 2, put my parentheses, minus a negative 3 minus negative 3 cubed. So now, again, I'm going to go through, do my parentheses first. So it's 2 squared minus 2, so negative 2, and this is going to turn into plus. So this actually just turns into 1 minus negative 3 cubed. So when you remember, when you type these into your calculator, it's important you type it in the set of parentheses. So this becomes 4 minus 2 times 1 minus, and this happens to be negative 27. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Negative 3 times 9 is negative 27. So go through and do all my multiplication. It's 4 minus 2 plus 27. So I'll solve this all out. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 plus 27 gives me a final answer of 29. All right, well done. All right, go ahead and get yourself set on your homework, and you guys will do great.